Greetings and welcome. As you come on in, please open up the chat box and type a 4 in the chat if you can see me and hear me, or shoot some emojis, share some love. I have become rather fond of emojis. Talk about a transformation. I honestly used to not like them much at all. And now, especially on YouTube, the way they show up on my screen is really exciting. It's quite precious. So, welcome to SEM Mondays Live, my weekly open Q&A show here on YouTube. This is definitely an awesome way to start your week during a pandemic or outside of pandemic. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to be able to connect with you each and every Monday, God willing, so that I can answer your questions, help you to get started with Source Energy Medicine, or perhaps help you to take your next step with Source Energy Medicine, whatever that may be. So I am grateful for the technology. I'm grateful to YouTube. I'm grateful there's so many moving parts there. You have no idea. If you've never done this, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes here. And SEM Mondays, back in March, has expanded. It was originally just a quick 11-minute Q&A, and it has expanded to include a group energy healing session each and every week to support you, to help to ensure that you stay well, that you are at your ideal energy level. You know, I talk a lot about energy levels, and if you don't understand calibrated energy levels, you're really missing a big piece of not only how Source Energy Medicine works and how Source Energy Medicine could potentially help you, but understanding calibrated energy levels helps me to understand vibrant well-being as well as dysfunction, dis-ease, and imbalance. So there's a clip on our YouTube channel where I talk about calibrated energy levels and really what that means. So you could definitely check that out when we're done here. And I am committed to continuing with this group energy healing session. The feedback that I've received, it literally has become a highlight of my week to have the opportunity to share that work with you. It gives me a tremendous sense of peace knowing that we have this opportunity to connect every Monday so that I can support you. And also an opportunity for each of us to experience a group energy healing session. If you're not familiar with it's called the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine. And it's called a non-material aspect because there's no material substance, right? There's no charging labels, there's no bottles, and there's no water. It's the same technology that's in our charging labels, and yet it is, I'm hesitating to say infinitely more flexible. I don't know if that's an accurate descriptor, but it is so much more flexible in that we're able to do things within the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine that simply is not possible with our charging label technology. So I think it's awesome to me to know that this work isn't just helpful one-on-one when I'm working with a client by phone or by Skype, but we're able to do this in a group. You can certainly type your healing requests into the chat. You can type your questions into the chat box as well, and I'll do my best to bounce back and forth between questions that have come in the chat thread, as well as questions that have come in by other ways that questions reach me. So if you don't know about the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine there too, simply search either on Google or on YouTube. There's the same parent company. Google owns YouTube. They're first and second largest search engines in the world. So you could simply type in Source Energy Medicine and non-material aspect, or Source Energy Medicine and energy healing, and it'll come up. Check out that video as well when we're done here. So if you are new to SEM Mondays, type a new or shoot an emoji or type a 1 in the chat. I always love to see new folks. It amazes me, all of the divine orchestration that is constantly at play, that and the various ways that people find out about source energy medicine. And people find out about source energy medicine every day, which is exciting to me. And there too, it gives me a great sense of peace knowing that everyone who is interested in a safe, effective, natural, holistic way of healing, right, healing yourself, you have access to everything that you need within the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide. It's a free mini course in Source Energy Medicine. I think it's up to 16 different modules now, with everything that's essential to your journey. And then for those who really want to learn how to master Source Energy Medicine, we do have online workshops. And all of that just really gives me so much comfort knowing that, I'm not the only beneficiary of Source Energy Medicine. In the beginning, I thought it was just an answer to my prayers, but very, very quickly I realized that Source Energy Medicine was what we now know as Source Energy Medicine was, yes, indeed, given to me to be able to heal myself. 2004 or there into 2005. And, gosh, I feel like one of the most fortunate men on this planet to have taken what I was given, which I had massive resistance to doing, but taking what I was given and then figure out how the heck to share that with you folks. So, there are a lot of people who have been part of Source Energy Medicine from the very, very beginning, and even before the beginning. And it's amazing how Source Energy Medicine has evolved over the years. And these days, my goodness, it's never been easier for you to not only access our content and learn all of the basics, but if you're an integrative wellness practitioner, it's never been easier for you to learn everything that you need to know about Source Energy Medicine, and of course master the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine, so you could support clients both with charging labels and the energy healing work. So it's an amazing combination, because from my perspective, which is based on my experience since 2005 sharing Source Energy Medicine, there's nothing that's outside the scope of potential or possibility. There's a lot that is like behind that answer, and if you want to learn more about, it's kind of interesting, because one of the constantly and consistently over the years, one of the most frequently asked questions that I receive is, will Source Energy Medicine work for me? Or will Source Energy Medicine work for, and fill in the blank with a condition, a challenge, a dis-ease, a diagnosis. And from my perspective, there is no such thing as an incurable dis-ease. There is no such thing as there are no options, there are no possibilities, and yet there's a lot to healing, right? Healing is an inner journey. It's my experience. All healing is self-healing, and that's one thing that I love about Source Energy Medicine. It's a very empowering modality. It's an empowering methodology. It's not me, or it's not the technology, or it's not an archangel who is of course there's all of those pieces are supporting transformation, supporting healing, but you are indeed healing yourself in every scenario, whether we're talking charging labels or the energy work. So, and I think it's maybe more challenging with the energy work to really grasp that, because it looks like I'm the facilitator. It looks like one of our practitioners is facilitating the work. And in reality, our role is more of a guide, and we're helping you to remember perhaps a mountain trail that you knew either very early in this life or perhaps in another life experience. And we're just helping you to remember your way, helping you to unleash your natural ability to be able to be self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting. Every time I think about this, I always think about the story of the prodigal son. And my life before Source Energy Medicine, I was definitely the prodigal. I was lost. I was confused. I was out of my father's house, and no mobile phones, right? No way of calling my father and asking for help. And part of reaching my ideal energy level, which is the key to long-term positive success in every regard, that is the homecoming. That is the returning to my rightful and empowered place, my right that is my birthright. And once I achieve my ideal energy level, everything in life has to be different. I could certainly still engage in certain behaviors and patterns and ways of being that were before reaching my ideal energy level, but they're like less tempting, they're less intriguing, they're less, and certainly no longer related to an addiction. So, and the addiction could be harsh judgment, or it could be everything that we could possibly be addicted to. There's a lot of talk these days about addictions and soft addictions and hard addictions, and they're all the same. They're all, chemically driven. The brain gets hardwired and then chemically addicted to the short chain amino acids that are associated with whatever it is that's the thing that is the drug of choice, if you will. So whether it's texting or pornography or alcohol or drugs or a person or meditation, right? It's all the same. So if you have questions, please go ahead and type something into the chat. Again, if you have a healing request, you can please type something into the chat, or and please be aware. YouTube warns you when you join this to actually, their warning is welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So be sensitive about what you type in there. You can also email me a healing request, and I'll make sure that everything gets covered. I don't need to even know your specific challenge or that you're even requesting. Simply your intention is all that's necessary for you to be able to receive this gift. Let me just check here. Oh gosh, there have been a lot of questions that continue to come in about the special master class that I produced back in March. So registration continues to be open. And I think the important thing for you to know is that what you will learn in this master class, while yes, it is an emergency preparedness class, somewhat heavily focused on this pandemic. That's primarily because there were so many questions about it, and yet it relates to all acute conditions. And acute conditions are everything from, things that create headaches, severe headaches, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, colds, flus, you name it, right? Acute conditions are often described as rapid and sudden onset, right? So these are things that seem to come out of the blue. So what you learn in that masterclass will absolutely serve you for the rest of your life. It will serve you, your family, your friends, your community. And it is a very, there too, another source of great peace for me, knowing that if you're interested in learning all of that, you have access to it. I know a lot of folks are temporarily out of work, or perhaps a little longer than temporarily out of work. So just talk to us. We ran out of scholarship funds a long time ago, and yet we'll do whatever would be helpful to help to ensure whether you're interested in exploring the masterclass or one of our online workshops. Just talk to us, and we'd be happy to either defer the payments or break up the payments, and whatever it takes to help to ensure that you have the resources that would be most helpful for you to help to ensure you have a high level of I would hope lead to peace and comfort, knowing that no matter what life brings your way, you're totally prepared. That's certainly true for me, and I can't imagine what this would be like without source energy medicine for me. And while on one hand, I haven't taken source energy medicine for anything since 2005, which means the only thing that's necessary is to maintain my ideal energy level, which outside of source energy medicine, I don't know how to do that, right? I was highly unsuccessful at doing that before source energy medicine. So I thought I was grateful on an everyday basis, all day, every day. I thought I was, and I was expressing gratitude for Source Energy Medicine, and I guess gratitude, like love, there's no limit to how much, right? So my gratitude for Source Energy Medicine has definitely increased exponentially since this pandemic started. And at the same time, it's enabled me to have this tremendous sense of peace. And Milo, who many of you know, he works closely with me. We've been talking about this, and it's almost hard to not feel guilty for having this much calm and peace and feeling of just like being, just knowing, right? Mastery of Source Energy Medicine is absolutely empowering. Mastery of Source Energy Medicine leads to that deep sense of peace for me. I have no guarantees in life. I don't know, if I'll live another hour or another 100 years. But I do know whatever life brings me, I'll have all of the tools, all of the technology, all of the resources, and I think most importantly, an amazing community of like-minded individuals who are bold, free thinking, leading edge, trailblazers who know, not just think or hope or wish or want, but know that you can heal yourself given the right tools, the right technology, the right resources, the right support, right, the community. There's no such thing. There's a couple of teachings from A Course in Miracles that I absolutely love. One is there's no order of difficulty when it comes to miracles, so there's not like a little problem and a big problem. It's all the same. And those among us who have achieved the greatest have achieved a fraction of what is possible for each of us. I think of those two at least a few times a day because they're just amazing sources of inspiration. So thank you everyone for your lovely comments and awesome emojis. Some new folks, welcome. Welcome, Susan. And Susie shares, thank you from my heart for these non-material healings. Thank you, Susie. Thank you for receiving them so beautifully. That's interesting. Elaine asks, could you tell me what I could use to attract bees? So if you go to our main website, which is sourceenergymedicine.com, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I believe if you click on the shop link, or hang on a second, let me just find it. We shift things around so frequently. So there are charging labels for bees, for honeybees, apis. They are species-specific charging labels. So if you go to sourceenergymedicine.com, you'll see the menu, and if you click on the shop SEM, that will take you to our storefront. Or actually, it depends on what device you're on, but you'll see a link for species-specific Source Energy Medicine charging labels for animals, and we have them available for cats and dogs and horses and llamas and alpacas, and we also have them for honeybees. So there is the charging labels for bees are free because there are a lot of different theories about this, but there are a lot of people who believe that if the honeybee population goes away completely, human population will go away shortly thereafter. It's such a key component to our food production, right? I'm talking about crops. And, without honeybees, even if humans don't go completely away, it would create massive challenge for us food-wise. So check that out. And, you don't even have to have a garden if you live in a city, and if you have a terrace, if you have any kind of outdoor space, a windowsill, as long as it's safe to put something out there. You don't want anything dropping on anyone. But the species-specific charging labels are for pathogens that only that species get, right? So the human charging labels would not help in these conditions because the dog has a virus that's unique to dogs. Cats don't get it, humans don't get it, horses don't get it. When it's in a dog, it's unique. So it is the transformation fusion number 3 version of each of these species-specific ones that is the most helpful. But you can put a bowl out in your garden, a shallow dish like an old pie pan, put some rocks, put some sticks. Bees are not good swimmers. And just fill it every day with transformation fusion number 3 of the apis. And also what would also be amazing is the energy level progression fusion number 1. And I do that in our bird baths. We have some of the pie plates that we found at garage sales that we put out, and just keep the water fresh. So I'm going to transition to getting set up here for doing the group energy healing session. So if you have any questions about that, please go ahead and type that specifically into the chat. And I don't see any other questions that are jumping out at me. So the chat moves pretty quickly, and there is a little bit of a delay. So, gosh, thank you all for so many kind words. Really, really appreciate that. Pam shares, there's such beautiful energy coming forth as you speak. It's so calming and feels so good. I believe just listening is very healing. Thank you, Pam, for not only sharing that so beautifully, so poetically. It is, it's true. I know it's true. The healing does not only occur during the session, if you will, but my intention, even when we were doing this as an open Q&A without the energy healing session, my intention was that this be uplifting, inspiring, and healing for each and every one of us. So I invite you, whether you typed in a healing request or you emailed something, I invite you to think of one thing that you would like to focus on, either a goal or a challenge that you would like to have transformed, balanced, and restored during this session. And the reason why I say choose one is because if you choose more than one, it's not going to be so obvious if it's helping, if it's working, or if it worked. And there's, I think, massive value to re-watching the replays of SEM Mondays, and you could jump forward to the energy healing part, and you could choose a different goal or challenge, right, every time that you revisit this. So the general work is specifically to helping to transform your overall energy level. Again, if you don't understand calibrated energy levels, you're really going to love the clip where I talk about calibrated energy levels. It's very, very, very empowering, and it helps to explain, why is it not 100% of the human population are getting COVID-19. So it's, yeah. So the group energy healing session, I'll put on some chanting in the background so that it's obvious if folks are just joining us that something's going on. There'll be a static picture up that says, energy healing session is in progress. On your end, your only, which is not easy sometimes, is to do nothing, which as humans is very, very challenging, especially in this multitasking culture that we all live in. And I think it even gets harder if you are a facilitator or an integrative wellness practitioner of some kind. Simply not doing the healing is hard for a lot of folks who work as facilitators. So simply allow, simply receive. If it is safe and comfortable for you to close your eyes, that certainly seems to help to increase the receptivity. If it's not safe for you to close your eyes now, don't do it, right? Please use common sense and rewatch this when you can get somewhere more comfortable and relaxed, and really create some sacred space and allow this blessing, allow these blessings, allow these miracles to be fully received. So it's work is phenomenally fast, and even though it'll be, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, this work will continue to literally be uploaded into your being for time to come. And then if you rewatch it a second time, it reinforces that and seems to go deeper. At least that's based on the feedback that I receive from a lot of folks. So it's massive benefit to watching this. And, never before as humans have we ever experienced a level of fear that we have now. And there certainly have been other isolated incidents. And I'm not saying, like, for example, Jews in Europe, during the rise of Hitler. I'm not comparing this to that at all. And yet, every human on this planet is experiencing a level of fear that we have not experienced before. So there certainly have been events that have created a tremendous amount of fear. Most of those events were not globally related, and never before have we had the technology that's able to spread the fear faster and more effectively than ever before. So, rewatching this replay once a day, I think would be a phenomenal way to support you through this. There's definitely no downside. I love that within all of Source Energy Medicine, the worst thing that can happen is nothing, and the best thing that can happen would be literally nothing. Would be something that would be characterized as miraculous, right? It would certainly be characterized as a miracle. So remember, Course in Miracles teaches us that miracles are our birthright. There's no order of difficulty when it comes to miracles. And not only are miracles our birthright, but we should experience them all day, every day. And if I'm not, I'm blocking it, right? It's not that, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, I'm not petitioning in the right way or stating the right prayers or chants or incantations. It's simply there's resistance. There's resistance to the miracle. There's resistance to the healing, resistance to the transformation. That's a big part of Source Energy Medicine. So as we transition into this, I invite you to get comfortable and relax. I invite you to take a nice deep breath and simply allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to perhaps see all of this from the end, from the place of having already received the miracle that you're seeking. As much as possible, try and see yourself the way the source of all creation sees you, as whole and perfect and complete, as an innocent being, filled with love, filled with light, filled with blessings. Take a nice deep breath. Allow yourself to continue to receive. Continue to allow. And if your eyes are closed, please go ahead and slowly blink them open. And come on back to this live stream on YouTube. And I gotta tell you, I am every non-material source energy medicine session that I do is different, whether I'm working one-on-one or with a group, and each group is different. And there's a lot that influences what a group experience is like. Part of that is how high your ideal energy level is. There's no question about that. And one of the things that I have constantly been aware of and so grateful for is a lot of people, almost everyone who finds source energy medicine has a very, very, very high ideal energy level. And if you think about what that means, according to Dr. David Hawkins' research, so, I use his scale of 0 to 1,000 to calibrate energy. And on that scale, the reason why I use it is on that scale, 200 is the dividing line between helpful and not helpful. And it's a scale that's based on logarithms. But if you think about it, according to Hawkins, 87% of the human population calibrates below 200, which is a somewhat old statistic, and yet it's still pretty accurate. And if you also think about it, if you were to energetically test that statistic and then test, is there anyone whose current energy level is below 200? Is that their ideal energy level? And you'll get a no. I get a no. If you don't get a no, then the question might not be refined well enough, or you might not understand all of the components of what I'm talking about. So if that's true, which according to my testing indicates that yes, it's true, in spite of almost 6 billion people or over 6 billion people on this planet having an energy level below 200, it's not punishment, it's not infliction, it's not karma, it's not retribution, it's not atonement. It is simply humans fouling up the way we experience this life. So reaching our ideal energy level, because this is a scale that's based on logarithms, our current calibration affects global human consciousness. So before source energy medicine, my current energy level was way below 200, and that was helping to negatively affect global human consciousness. Now that my energy level has been above 200 since 2004, consistently, constantly, except for some minor blips, I'm able to help to positively shift global human consciousness in a constructive way, in a positive way, and same is true for each and every one of you. One of the things that I am most, it stands out, it's very striking to me, and a source of huge gratitude for me is that so many people that find source energy medicine have very, very, very high ideal energy levels. And by that I mean above 700, above 800, above 900. Not uncommon. It's actually uncommon to have someone who finds source energy medicine that I or one of our practitioners end up working one-on-one with, who has an ideal energy level that's below 700, and more often than not, it's in the 800s or 900s. And you don't have to know everything about that, but it's fascinating to me. I think it's a reflection of the advancement or the progression of our soul, if you will. And it's somewhat like an educational system, right? Where we start out as humans when we play this game in preschool, and then we go to kindergarten and first grade. And if we continue to do well, we continue to move up through the grades. And the same thing is true with our consciousness, right? So, Because it's a scale that's based on logarithms, the relatively small percentage of the population that calibrates above 200 can help to counterbalance the gross majority of people who calibrate below 200. And at a certain point, it's not just going to be counterbalancing, it will be outweighing and then grossly outweighing. And then we'll get to the point where there will be so many people at high enough consciousness that radical change and change in every way has to occur. And the darkness will either come along for the transformation or go away. So, never before has it been more critically important to sustain your ideal energy level, not just in terms of helping to create a brighter future, but if you think about it, all dis-ease, all pathogens, all imbalance, all areas of lack calibrate below 200. So it's pretty straightforward path from there. Some people think it's overly simplistic, and I like the simplicity of it. One of the things that bothered me before source energy medicine was everything that I studied seemed to be overly complicated. I knew that my body could heal itself, and I knew there were just blocks that were preventing me from being able to do it, and it shouldn't be complicated, and it shouldn't be long, and it shouldn't have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to the point where I am today. So it's it's an interesting thing to think about. I love knowing that as I heal myself, as you heal yourself, we are helping to positively shift global human consciousness, which will absolutely lead to not only a brighter future for all of us, where there is more sufficiency for everyone, where there will be no dis-ease, no lack, no limitation, no more war, no more killing, no more crime. But between now and then, having a life experience of deep peace, completely symptom-free, experiencing complete sufficiency. I love the positive side benefits of taking source energy medicine just seem to constantly expand for me, and in ways that still inspire awe. So, I am going to check the chat real quick and see if there are any last minute questions. I would love to, whether you're watching this live or in replay, I'd love to see some feedback, some words, something about how this energy healing session was for you. Yeah, I'm just going to scan the chat here real quick, and I apologize, it's hard to talk and read through it. Gosh, thank you, so many beautiful people saying some very kind things. Thank you for all of your kind words. Amana says, hit the like button, folks. So yes, please. So if you like this, hitting the like button certainly helps. Sharing this with someone who would be open to a natural, safe, effective way to self-heal, what a blessing that is to share source energy medicine with another. The whole quick start guide, everything that's essential to your journey with source energy medicine, your friend's journey with source energy medicine, is free. So not only could you be sharing what is likely an answer to their prayers, but they're not going to have to spend thousands of dollars to explore source energy medicine. So definitely subscribing is helpful. Sharing the videos. Click that silly bell icon, and you'll be notified when I'm live or when we upload a new video. So thank you, Amana, for your prompting. Yeah. So between now and next Monday, I'd encourage you to rewatch this once a day if it's helpful. You could just fast forward to the energy healing part and re-experience it. And, I think there's huge benefit. And there too, if you watch it second, third, fourth, fifth time, leave comments. Just scroll down below the player and leave comments and let me know if each one was indeed different for you and what you experienced. So, I have to skedaddle. I have no idea where our time went together today. And yet I'm super grateful for having had this opportunity to share with each of you one of the massive blessings of of having, this weekly live show on YouTube is we have the archive. You can search for questions. You can re-watch the energy healing sessions in between weeks. And God willing, I will see you back here next Monday for another session of SEM Mondays Live. I wish you continued blessings on your journey with Source Energy Medicine. Bye for now.